Some of the words being used to sum up last night's first U.S. presidential debate are poor, falsehoods, testy, struggles, deflects, and doubts.
How many billions of dollars do you owe in civil penalties for molesting a woman in public, for doing a whole range of things?
The current and former U.S. presidents met in their first presidential debate since 2020 in Georgia last night. And joining us this morning from Washington, D.C. with analysis is Todd Belt, political science professor and the director of George Washington University's Political Management Program. Great to have you with us.
Hi, great to be with you, Anne-Marie. Thanks for having me.
Well, there seems to be no debate about who was stronger in this debate. Fortune magazine summing it up this way, saying this was all about delivery. Trump being strong and confident in mistruths, and Biden fumbling through facts. If you are a Democrat this morning, how are you feeling and what kind of questions are you asking yourself?
If you're a Democrat, you're terrified and you are wondering if there is somebody else who can step up at the convention and take this away again. This was terrible for Joe Biden. He really had one job, and that was to prove that he was still up to the test of being the president, of being the commander-in-chief, and he really failed it. A lot of people have been very concerned about his ability to perform his job, and we found that in our GW Politics poll, much more for him than for Donald Trump, and he really didn't allay any of those concerns last night. Worse yet, he allowed Donald Trump to get away with a number of different falsehoods. He repeatedly struggled to defend his record, which has been pretty significant, and finally, he just didn't offer a vision for the future, whereas Donald Trump, of course, was coming off as Donald Trump with all those attacks and defending his own record.
Yeah, and you're right. There seems to be very little pushback, either from President Biden or from the moderators. You know, you bring up a good point this morning. The Democrats asked for this debate, and Joe Biden just did not have the performance he needed to disprove this narrative that his age is an impediment. Here's one moment from early on in the night.
What I've been able to do with the with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look. If we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death. And
so the line there from former President Trump says, you're right, he did beat Medicare. He beat it to death. So not only did Joe Biden have a fumble, but then Trump was able to play off it. Hours later, and you say the conversations are getting louder around, is it even possible at this stage to change candidates in this race? The Democratic National Convention is in August. Would it even be possible to see a change by then?
Not by then, because Joe Biden has enough delegates that are pledged to him at the convention. So the way that it works is the delegates would have to be released. Joe Biden before then would have to say that he's releasing his delegates, which would create a real firestorm of people trying to approach those delegates before the convention. It makes actually much more sense from a political standpoint to do it at the convention and to release his delegates there and to have other people vie for those delegates on the convention floor. So that's sort of the problem with doing that at this point.
Getting into this debate, I mean, the numbers are so close for these two candidates. Donald Trump made a lot of dubious claims about things like the deaths in the war in Ukraine, crimes committed by the Biden family, and the details of Roe v. Wade. How did these mistruths play out? And given his performance, do you think that he was able to give some legitimacy to his campaign?
Right. Well, Donald Trump didn't just stretch the truth. He outright lied about a number of things, about people coming over the border from and engaging in more crime and all manner of things. And Biden just wasn't able to counter that. And in terms of, did Donald Trump do anything to support his campaign? I think the one thing he did do is he actually benefited more from the rules than Joe Biden did. And I thought it'd be the other way around, in the fact that he was able to not be too brash and alienate some of those independent voters. We often say that the debate isn't going to win you the election, but it could lose you the election. And that's probably closer to the truth for Joe Biden this morning.
Oh, that's a good reminder today. CNN hosted this debate. They muted candidate microphones last night when it wasn't their turn to talk. There was also no live audience, as there have been in previous years. So how did these rules make this debate different from the last time that these two met? There was a lot of crosstalk last time, I recall.
Oh my gosh, was there a lot of crosstalk? There was so many interruptions, and then of course playing off the crowd. Those are the two big things that we thought, would benefit Donald Trump, because he loves to play off the crowd and he loves to interrupt people and get them off their game. He didn't have to get Joe Biden off his game tonight. Joe Biden did that himself. He could not put those ideas together. He couldn't really string together ideas of what he wanted to do for the country, or didn't even try to do that. This was a very backwards-looking debate. They were defending their records and saying who was the worst president, instead of talking about the future and what they wanted to do for the country if they were to lead it. And I think that was a real lost opportunity for both of them.
Yeah, not only that, but also debating who was a better golfer on the course. I don't know if that was a strange moment. Anyway, Todd Belt, I want to thank you for joining us this morning. Lots to keep our eyes on ahead as we continue in this campaign, because, of course, it continues this morning. Thanks so much.
It did. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.